Blog Talk Radio.
How's it going? You're listening to the Losing Your Parents International Radio Show. I'm broadcasting from Portland, Oregon. My name is Lisa A. Snyder. I have lost both of my parents to cancer when I was in my 20s. When I was 22, I woke up next to my dad who had died, and when I was 27, I watched my mom take her last breath. I was present for both of their illnesses, and I witnessed their deaths, and I had to face life as a young person without them. It was important to me that I connect with other people who have also lost parents so we can have this common experience that is not on the list of things that we want to experience in life, but we kind of have to and are forced to. I'm 33 years old right now, and I write and I talk about my journey through healing my grief and working through life's challenges that come up, mostly using creativity and self-expression. My blog is losingyourparents.org, and my goal is to bridge the gap between grief and joy at every possible opportunity, when possible. If you would like to get in touch with me, I have a contact form on my site and also a totally anonymous form on my site should you want to contact me anonymously. It's losingyourparents.org/contact. I also have a sister site called griefpost.com. That's also totally anonymous grief and self-expression. So you can go there if you want to just share whatever's on your mind. There's no email addresses. I get all kinds of people writing about all kinds of life situations, and it's really nice to sort of get that energy out and just write whatever is going on for you. Today, I have a special show today, and it's really hitting close to home, and I got to be honest, I'm feeling very sad today. I'm feeling very sad, and my pain body is definitely awakened, and my dad's brother, my Uncle Gene, died yesterday, and he had a 29-month battle with brain cancer. He lived way longer than doctors told him he would. He fought for life, and he wanted to live life to the fullest. He was the middle child, my Aunt Phyllis being the oldest in the family and my dad being the youngest. I just have to say that, you know, I guess I'm sort of saying this to myself and to all of you, like if you're feeling sadness, to just sort of allow yourself to feel it instead of pretending, because that never really, I don't know, it just kind of creeps up eventually. I guess if, you know, you need to get through and keep yourself busy for a little while, I think that that's okay too. You just have to listen to yourself and listen to what's right for you. I'm trying to come from a place or trying to reinvent myself a little bit. I don't want to feel like I'm all knowing and I give advice and that's all I give. I'm just trying to have like a life experience and share my experience with anybody who wants to sort of grab them and use that to help yourself in your own life. So I'm going to try and take the stance of just being here along for the ride with myself and with you, and whatever you can take from whatever I'm saying to apply at any point in time, if that helps you or heals you at all, like that's really all I want. So I want to read you a little thing that I had written a little while ago about my Uncle Gene. My Uncle Gene transitioned yesterday, met by my dad with open arms at the pearly gates. He was the most generous, loving, funny, and hardworking man that I've ever known. He was always an entrepreneur, working his way from shining shoes in front of Yankee Stadium at 7 years old to having his own deli in New York City. He used to tell me stories about my dad, his brother, and my Aunt Phyllis, and all the things they would do together. One time he offered my dad a job at his deli when he was a teenager, but only for him to show up late all the time with all kinds of excuses. But he loved him no matter what and always supported him. He shared with me that my dad had left the deli to pursue his dream to work in radio and TV, and how proud of him he always was. Later on, when I came around, we spent some time together on Long Island, and after they moved to Arizona, I would get these amazing purses from him and my Aunt Roz for my birthday with a 50 always tucked inside. Whenever we got together for visits, I knew there would be a huge family-style meal involved with a ton of laughter. When I lost my favorite angel necklace during a visit to their house when I was 15, my Aunt Roz and Uncle Gene made sure I had a replacement and bought me another. At my cousin Haley's bat mitzvah at the father-daughter dance, as the father-daughter dance was announced, I left the dance floor as I was recently fatherless and had no dad to dance with. My Uncle Gene was right there to grab me. That moment was caught here in this picture, and I have a picture of us dancing on the floor. I will never forget the time Catherine and I visited for a late Hanukkah celebration. We played a game we love called Things with the entire family. I've never laughed so hard in my life. We had the funnest time, and it is a bright memory for me. This man was honorable. He would give you the shirt off his back if you needed it or even just asked to borrow it. I always felt loved. The last time I saw him, we held hands. We didn't have to say anything to know that we would always be connected and would always love one another. My heart is with my Aunt Roz, my Aunt Phyllis, my cousins Tammy, Scott, and Joni, and all my little cousins, and everyone that ever knew him. He made a great impact on all of us, and we will be deeply missed, but forever in our hearts. Today, what I'm going to talk to you about is so close to home because my dad and my Uncle Gene were, close. They were brothers. They looked very similar. Anytime I ever looked at my Uncle Gene after my dad died, all I would think about was my dad. I mean, I would think about, and be present with the moment, but I would also think about my dad. And that was one of the hardest things after my dad died was how badly I wanted to be connected to my family, but how much it was painful at the same exact time and how confusing that was for me. Like, how could you want to be close with your family but also feel afraid because it's so painful? I wish I had some additional tools and resources to, have dealt with myself at the time because I think I might have pushed some people away who wanted to be close, and I didn't really know how to be close at the same time. And so I have forgiveness for myself, for my younger self, and the person that just didn't know how to grieve and how to be close with family who wanted to be close. And I think it was vice versa, too. I remember having a conversation with my Uncle Gene the day before his first brain surgery. And he had actually passed away from brain cancer. And it was a beautiful one, and he was like, I love you, and there was time where I was scared to talk to you, and I was like, I was scared to talk to you. We had a moment of really understanding that there was some fear about facing the other person, not because they're scared of them, but because it just reminded us so much of the person that we love and we miss. And when there's someone in your life that reminds you of the person that you lost, your mom or your dad, or anybody else in your life, but specifically your mother or your father, it can be sometimes painful to see them. On the other side, once I turned the corner, being like, this isn't painful, this is amazing, that I have this opportunity to see and talk to and connect with somebody who reminds me of my dad, looks like my dad, has the same sense of humor as my dad, same fingers, same ring. We have a family ring that I actually have my dad's ring. I felt very blessed to have been able to find that place, that sweet spot of being able to enjoy the time and the presence with this person that reminded me so much of my dad. And I felt like it was so important that Catherine, my fiance, meet my Uncle Gene, because she should just meet him and know him, and also because he is so much like my dad, and she never met my dad. Him dying the day before my 23rd birthday, it's been over 10 years that I haven't had him in my life, and eventually I'm going to cross over where there'll be more time that I haven't had him than when I did. And so if there's somebody in your life that reminds you of one of your parents, to try and find that place where you can find joy and peace in knowing them and connecting with them. And one of my favorite things is to connect about memories, because especially with people who have known your parent for longer than you have, one of their siblings, another family member, a longtime friend, the stories and the memories that they have and they can share with you are totally priceless. My uncle shared a lot of memories that, of course, I would never have because I wasn't even in existence then, with me, and I was so thankful to have shared that with him, because it was fun for him to share it, and it was fun for me to receive those stories. So is there somebody, I'm going to ask you sort of a question here, is there somebody in your life that reminds you of your mother or father that you haven't connected with, that maybe you'd like to? Maybe now is the time to send them an email, send them a hello on Facebook or a private message. If you're into old school writing letters and cards, that's also a nice thing to do. Sending a card to somebody and just telling them you're thinking about them is really kind, and it's a nice surprise in the mail. And I think you'll feel more connected to your parent. I think that's the actual additional benefit of connecting with somebody who reminds you of a parent, is that you get a piece or a hit of connecting with your parent. And I would get that each time that I spoke with my Uncle Gene. And I definitely get that when I speak with my Aunt Phyllis too. I mean, she's a gift. Very thankful for her, and her strength. And I'm sending her a lot of love right now. I can't imagine what it's like to have lost two brothers, and to lose anybody is so challenging, so challenging. But my challenge is to you right now, to all of you, is find somebody that reminds you of your parent and connect with them just a little bit more. I think that you'll find it a little scary at first, but in the end, you might have a happy surprise. One of my mom's best friends growing up sent me a letter before we moved, and sent me all these pictures of her and my mom, and a letter that my grandmother wrote, and it was really a nice surprise. It was just so beautiful to receive a gift like that. Like, the gifts kind of keep on coming in these really interesting ways when you connect with other people who knew your parents. And if you are already connecting with somebody who knew your parent, that's beautiful. Stay connected. I actually think I need to shoot my dad's friends, Norm and Sandy, an email. I haven't connected with them in a while, and sometimes it can be really triggering to connect with somebody. Like, you want it so badly, but then all of a sudden you find yourself in a tailspin of memories and feelings, and you don't know what to do with them, and instead of dealing with them, you kind of avoid. And but the avoidance eventually leads to loneliness and not being able to connect. So I think finding some honesty, and even if you, like, let's say you're feeling bad about not connecting with somebody, like I'm feeling a little bad about not connecting with Norm and Sandy for a while, and I think that she emailed me and I hadn't emailed back, and it's probably been months and months, and I think the fear inside is she's going to be mad at me when I write back. And I guess I have to override that if I want to be real and true to myself, have to just say, hey, I'm sorry, it's been a while, and just move on. I want to hope, how are you? I hope you're well. Here's a little update on my life. One of the things that we did this year, which I had been wanting to do forever because I'm the worst at it, or I've been the worst at it, is, worse at sending thank yous and stuff like that. It's just like forever. It takes me forever. And then by the time I end up sending a thank you, it's like been like months, Or I've also sent my brother Christmas presents in like February because I'm just like, I finally got my stuff together enough to like put it in a box, wrap it, send it out, whatever, get to the post office. It does take a little extra effort to make those things happen, but so I put together a holiday card, and everyone's sending us pictures of their babies and happy holidays and all that stuff. I was like, we've got babies, we've got fur babies, and so we also bought a house this past year, and I put our picture of our house and us holding the key, and then all of our animals, and I felt so good sending that out, to friends and family and trying to stay connected, especially since moving across the country to a new place. I think it's definitely important to try and stay connected as best you can with people. And now we've got a lot of technology, Skype, FaceTime, these are tools you can use in addition to email and Facebook and social media and writing letters. There are so many ways that you can connect with a loved one and or someone who was a friend or family member of your loved one. You can ask for pictures. Hey, just wondering if you have any old stories or pictures of my mom or dad. Those are always fun because you never know what they're going to say. My dad's friend Norm had pictures of him and my dad on their first plane ride ever, and this is I guess in the 70s, in the early 70s, and my dad is holding a drink in his hand, and he just looks so happy and proud to be taking his first official plane ride. And the style of the clothes, and I just kind of put the story together in my head, and this is one way that you can carry on a relationship with your parents, even though they're gone, to stay connected to those who knew him, those who loved him or her. Ask for stories, ask for memories, talk about the memories you have, re-emphasize those things so that you don't forget and that they don't forget. Ask for stories, ask for memories, pictures. If there's video, I actually have found some reels that are these old tapes from the 60s, and I have no idea how to get the video off of here, but my dad had a ton of them. And so one of the things I want to do is, we live in Portland, so it's a pretty hip place, and there's all kinds of old school places. There's a place that, they sell typewriters still because people buy them, and they need them fixed. They've got a store for everything here. So I bet you I could find somebody who could get the video off of here, and I really would love to do that. I'd love to figure that out. Let's see how much time we have left here. We've got about 11 minutes left. So what else can I share with you? Let's check in on Twitter and Facebook. See what's going on there. Nothing. Nothing's going on. Most people listen to the show after it's been archived, and that's totally cool. I respect that. Trying to think of some more stories about my Uncle Gene or my dad or memories. I guess I just want everybody to know, how much of a generous person that my Uncle Gene was, and how hard he worked in his life. He was always working. He worked up until the day he could not work anymore, and he ended up giving his business, which at that time, most recently, was a power washing for restaurants business. He literally just gave it to one of his employees and didn't ask for anything in return. If you needed or wanted something from him, he would give it to you. And I don't think that there's a lot of people out there in the world that just do that really don't want anything back. Like there's a lot of people that give out there in the world, but then they want something back immediately, or they expect something back immediately, and that's not generosity. My uncle is definitely a generous man, and he loved his family, still loves his family very, very much. My cousins Joni and Tammy and Scott, I'm sending you lots of love, and I'm hoping that you can find your way through the challenging times ahead and remember everything that your dad taught you, told you, gave to you, showed you. I think that you guys have a really the family is really a beautiful one, and it's this thing that is such a gift, and the commitment that everybody has to everyone's lives is admirable, and I really respect it. And to all my little cousins, I know this time is going to be really hard for you. Try and hold on to your memories and to hold him inside you and to know that he's a part of you. That's really important to remember, is that the people that we love, even though they're physically not here anymore, everything they told us, everything we learned from them, every memory we have, they live on inside us. We have the power to refer back to that when we're feeling like we miss them. There's a lot of other ways that I've tried to stay connected with my parents who are no longer physically here. But the biggest one is to remember how much they meant to you and what they gave to you, and to know that when there's going to be days that are going to be so challenging, and to be very try and be very gentle with yourself on those days. Try and just do what you need to do to take care of yourself, and just try to love yourself and each other as best you can. My heart goes out to you. And my Aunt Roz and my Uncle Gene were married for over 50 years, and they were really there for my dad during his illness. And, I might go back and edit my little post and write a little something about that and how thankful I was to have them there along for the ride. It was really strange to be so young and to have your dad be sick and have to figure out stuff like hospitals and wheelchairs and all this stuff. And he wasn't even old. My dad was 54 years young when he died, and I hope that I live past my parents' age. My dad was just 54. My mom was 62, and I'd like to live beyond 64. I want to be on my 64th birthday. I want to listen to When I'm 64 by the Beatles, because I just think that would be amazing. And I feel like I'm going to be an old lady. I got to take care of myself, though. If you want to be older in life, you got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of your body and your mind and your spirit. And, these last 2 months, honestly, for me, just being totally honest, have been really challenging, depression-wise and energetically, and I'm trying to find my way through. The holidays are really tough. I'm really glad they're over. I had a great New Year's. New Year's Day was very blissful, and I'm trying to find my way back to a happier place. So I'm seeking out a new therapist, and so I hope that will work itself out. I think it's really good to talk to a therapist, somebody who is a neutral space for you to bounce ideas off of. You can afford it. There's also alternative therapies that you can do, like counseling. There's a lot of resources out there. I don't know all of them, but some of them are on my website. And I just want to say thank you to my Uncle Gene for being a part of my life and for being a part of everybody's life that you touched. You are an important puzzle piece, and you would definitely be deeply missed. And everybody who ever knew you is missing you and is loving you. And I just want to thank you for your presence in my life. I'd also like to thank everybody who's listening. Send somebody a message, a note, a heartbeat to somebody who you care about, who reminds you of a parent or both of your parents. Take care.